Good morning, October the 24th, you guys. How was your weekend? You have a good weekend?
Yeah, it was a really good weekend.
I got Andy and I got Robert back here today with me. I know people have asked me, well, why do you have the same guys? Well, they're my co-hosts. They work with me, and they answer a lot of the same questions. They answer a lot of the questions that I ask. And it's not that I don't know them. I just want them to be able to tell you them. And, I was talking to Rob and Andy this weekend, and there's a conversation and there's a subject out there that's really not being talked about. And it's very concerning. In fact, it has to do with supply chains, and it has to do with getting groceries to the store so that you can buy groceries. And the big part of it is diesel. And diesel supplies right now in the United States are reportedly at the lowest point since 2008. Robert, Andy, we keep hearing this year, 2008. It's like it's all over again, deja vu, right? And we only have, listen to this, and this was as of, I think, Friday last week, we only have enough fuel for less than 25 days. I think we're at about 22 right now. Now, keep in mind, the midterms is just less than that away, right? So it's interesting how everything is timing after the midterms. It's like it's almost like they're holding it over our heads that if you vote a certain way, then all hell is going to break loose for you. But if you vote our way, then we're going to make it right for you. But I don't think that's going to happen. In fact, according to a recent report from Bloomberg, demand is also said to be at its highest since 2007, which is creating a very dangerous supply-demand combination that's causing spikes in pricing. So here we go again, inflation, more inflation. So if the trucks can't get to the stores, that means that there's no goods in the stores. So what's left in that store, the prices are going to go up. And not only that, if the cost of diesel is going to go up, the price of the groceries and the price of the materials and the supply that goes into these locations, those prices are going to go up. So that's what's causing spikes. That's what's causing the spikes in pricing. And this Biden administration called the nationwide diesel supply unacceptably low and is looking at all options to build the national supply to help reduce prices. Well, what I find very interesting is that none of the news stations, none of the media is covering any of this. And it's very concerning because according to the U.S. Information Administration, the EIA, the average price of diesel is at $5.34 per gallon. And that's an increase of $1.67 per gallon compared to last year. And they're getting hit the hardest right now in New England, where people burn diesel fuel for heat more than anywhere else in the country. And their stockpiles of diesel fuel now are a third of what they normally have at this time of the year. And the highest cost of diesel fuel right now is actually right here where I'm sitting in California, and where the average cost is almost $6.50 a gallon, an increase of almost $2 per gallon this time last year. And it's also a massive price increase over the average cost of gasoline in the United States, according to the EIA, which the average price of gasoline in the U.S. is $3.87 per gallon, with the most expensive region being right here again in California at $5.84 a gallon. I don't know about you guys. I don't see it at $5.84 in the city here. Do you? I see it.
Most places I see are $6
or $7. I saw even $7.
The real cheaper gas places. So there's a couple of cheaper ones that are around 560, 570.
Yeah.
But most of them you see around 6.
Like right around here where we're at, it's like
Yeah.
$6 or more.
I've even seen some over 7 still. Now 750 depends on, like you said, the area that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. What are you guys' thoughts on this this shortage? I mean, we only have a few days left.
I mean,
thanks to Joe Biden's economic crippling policies and a diesel fuel crisis is going to cripple us.
It's more evidence that the Biden administration really has no clue what they're doing.
Well, they're draining, Andy. They're draining the strategic petroleum reserves.
Yeah.
And they've dominated. It's been, I don't understand. If they let this happen, if either side lets this happen, man, that's a tell.
No, it's clear that they first thing Joe Biden did was to cancel the Keystone Pipeline. That was the first thing that he did, and the country, he thinks that we should get off oil, we should get off gas, that we're moving towards green energy and the Green New Deal, and it makes perfect sense that we're going to have these shortages, we're going to have these price increases because they're trying to destroy the resource of oil, and we still really need oil. If we can come up with some great energy solution in the future, fine. But right now, we're definitely not there.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it from this aspect. I mean, think about all the over the road truckers and having the inability to actually work and provide for their family, right? You're also looking at a massive food shortage. And we spoke about this last week and the week prior, that there's going to be a food shortage.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a lot of individuals struggling to provide for their family.
Well, you know,
this is a crock of shit, if you ask me.
Rob, the Biden administration now they've remained quiet, silently quiet about all this. And it's probably because they're hoping that the news doesn't hit the mainstream, because its total political time bomb is waiting to go off, especially as these midterm elections are so close right now. So no one's really, that's what is shocking to me, why no one's really talking about something that's really, really important that is going to cause more prices, because this diesel crunch comes just weeks ahead of the midterm elections. Go ahead. You got something you want?
Yeah, I mean, this diesel crunch, this diesel fuel shortage, this is not a surprise. We were seeing videos, what was it, 2 months ago, maybe a month and a half ago, of just lines, rows and rows of truck drivers trying to get fuel, trying to fuel up their trucks to go ahead and deliver their supplies, right? Fulfill their drop-offs. This is not a surprise, right?
What about the prices?
The prices are only going to continue to go up.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And the American trucking industry now is very important to this country, and the truckers rely on diesel to run their trucks.
I mean, you know, look, my dad sold a trucking business. He was doing hot shotting, so he would use an F-350 dually power stroke, 6.7 liter. Attach a 3-core hauler or a 4-core hauler to the back of it. He had 4 trucks for him and my uncles and my cousins. And yeah, I mean, you know, I'm just grateful that he sold his business a couple years ago. And you know, even then, you know, there was an abundance of work, and there's still an abundance of work. But if you can't get to the loads, then you're pretty much screwed, right?
Yeah. No, this is, you know, we've got a lot of truck drivers as clients that have actually invested in gold and silver, either with their 401ks or their IRAs. And good thing they did, because this is all telltale signs. Look, according to the U.S. Information Administration, the EIA, they're saying that diesel fuel is used to transport goods and run military vehicles and tractors at the same time. And most of the products that we use are transported by trucks and trains with diesel engines. And most construction, farming, and military vehicles and equipment all have diesel engines. So as a transportation fuel, diesel fuel offers a wide range of performance, efficiency, and safety features. And diesel fuel also has a great energy density than any other liquid fuel, so it provides more useful energy per unit of volume. So, this is very important when you have diesel fuel as low as it is. And, they keep talking about lowering our strategic petrol. Everything just keeps getting lower and lower. Go ahead, Rob.
No, I was going to say, if there's an alternative way to go ahead and deliver these goods and services and these supplies, right, please let me know. Because I don't think there's an alternative right now at this moment to deliver these supplies. I just don't see it. What's the alternative?
Well, according to, I'll tell you something that's interesting. So the IRS came out this past Friday, and they announced that contribution limits now to your 401k plans and your individual retirement accounts, your IRAs, are now rising in 2023 in response to price inflation that's running at the fastest pace it's ever seen in 40 years. And the limits now are linked to headline consumer price index, the CPI, and September's reading, which saw an 8.2% year-over-year increase. And the boost to your 401k now, the maximum is the biggest one ever. And in both dollar and percentage terms, as retirement investors will now be able to contribute $2,000 more dollars in 2023 than they can this year. In other words, the limit on so-called catch-up contributions are available to those that are 50 and over is rising by $1,000 to $7,500. So now you're able to contribute more into your retirement plan. And I was talking to Rob about that this morning, and he made a very good answer to that, and I want him to explain it to you.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't solve the fact that they're still facing inflation. The cost of goods are going to continue to rise. It's going to take more dollars to purchase goods and services. It's a scheme.
That's right.
I mean, you're basically putting more money into this illiquid casino. You're putting more money into a position to where you could almost lose everything you had, even new generated income being produced with working with your employer.
You're right. I mean, look, of course, higher limits are only useful to the extent that Americans can actually find the extra money to actually put away. Yeah. And at the same time, when you have rising prices for gasoline, energy, and food, they're hammering their cash flow. They're literally taking down their cash flow. So it's not as Americans are even treading water against inflation. They're already sinking right now. And we saw in August revolving credit balances soar by 18%. So I agree with you. By adding more money to it doesn't help inflation at all.
No, not at all.
Yeah. Hey, Andy, do you got anything you want to put off on that as well? Say on that?
Yeah, I mean, like Rob said, it really doesn't change anything. It's nice that you can put away more money if you have more money, but most people are really just focusing now on.
How are you going to have more money to put in your retirement account when everything's gotten worse?
It's really just a poor trap.
A poor trap. Gotcha. Is this a poor trap? This is something that's interesting that came out as well, and it came out over the weekend that Egypt now has developed a new currency. Imagine that. It's a new currency indicator to actually wean people off the U.S. dollar. And we've been talking about this, that the United States dollar is a weapon. And that's what's happening all around the globe is it's destroying all these different currencies from the yen to, but it's not hurting the ruble. The ruble's up 68% now. See, it just keeps going up and up and up. But these are things that we've been talking about, how, this is what they're doing. They're using the dollar to destroy all these other currencies around the globe. And now you have Egypt, where Egypt has actually come out and there will develop a new currency indicator that will wean people off the idea that the Egyptian pound should be pegged to the U.S. dollar. And it's because it's just killing them all around. Andy, you're dying to say something.
Yeah, we see that the BRIC nations have decided to make their own currency, their own basket of currencies. So this is a trend that's been going on now, and I heard Saudi Arabia is now going to be joining the BRICS nations, and they're putting together a coalition of nations that don't want to be tied to the dollar. So we're seeing that more and more. It's happening. You don't want your assets to be tied up in dollars. You want your assets to be connected to something real and tangible, and that's where gold and silver come in, because they're always going to have value throughout the world, throughout every economy, and it's not going to be part of this whole currency war that's going on. It's a real asset that's always a tangible asset, and it's liquid. You take gold anywhere in the world, you will be able to sell that for the currency or actually get goods for it.
Yeah, you can always exchange it for more value.
Exchange it
later on.
And pretty soon it's not going to be that way with the dollar. Countries may not be recognizing the dollar. The petrodollar may be a thing of the past, and it's really, really not. It's not looking good right now. You know, with all the money printing that's going on, fiat currency is basically phony money. It's basically fake money. So you're playing with monopoly money. That's not where you want to be putting your assets.
Yeah, risky.
You're not
dirty.
You want to get out of the monopoly, and you want to get into real assets.
Yeah, just to piggyback off that, I'm looking at this from like a really neutral standpoint, not leaning towards physical assets, not leaning towards the stock market or crypto or anything like that. Whenever there's geopolitical turmoil, whenever there's a crisis, whenever there's a stock market correction, where do people flock? They don't flock into more stocks. They don't flock into bonds. They don't flock into gold and silver. They all flock towards the dollar. They always get into dollars. And that's the issue. That mindset of getting into dollars is a complete death trap over the wealth and over the money you've built and accumulated over X amount of time. So what happens when the dollar goes parabolic but then craters downwards? Well, guess what? You're in a death trap. You're in dollars. You get completely wrecked. And now you're trapped in the banking system in central bank digital currency, when you could have put those dollars into something real like physical gold, like physical silver, to actually have some sort of liquidity and value, right? Because it's not where you start, it's where you finish, right? So if you finish in a position to where you lose everything and you're trapped in the banking system in central bank digital currency because you didn't make the decision to move into physical gold or silver and you decided to stay in dollars, well, you should blame yourself for falling victim to the trap, right?
Yeah, and that dollar is just going to get lower by inflation.
Well, they're bringing it up just to go ahead and smash it all the way down.
Yeah. Remember, I always say that many governments, including the United States, go so far as to create inflation. In other words, they manufacture it, and the reason they do it is it's a way. How can I say? It's a key factor for them to be able to help them to depreciate the debt and destroy the value of our dollar, and they do it by hyperinflation. Well, that's what just happened over there in England with Truss. She was creating more hyperinflation. I've never seen that. That prime minister was out less than yeah. I mean, and now I understand that Boris Johnson's not going to go in. He's dropped out, and so now they have this Middle Eastern guy. I don't know what his name. Rushnick, Indian guy. Okay, Indian guy. Midterms are really coming. We're getting ready. And I can't wait to stand in the line and go in and place my votes. I mean, I'm waiting. This is the first time I'm not doing a mail-in vote. This is the first time I'm actually going to stand in line and cast my vote. Votes. Let's put it that way. Votes. And believe me, I got every single politician I can think of texting me, can I get your vote? Can I get your vote? Hell, they'll even come pick you up, drive you down, take you down there. I'm not kidding you. If I can't walk, they're going to find a way for me to walk to that booth and cast my vote. I'm not kidding. I've seen it. But, hey, you guys, I don't know if you knew this, but there's a judge in New York who ruled that the continued use, because see, they've been using this COVID vaccine as an excuse to mail in their ballots. So a smart judge in New York actually ruled that the continued use of COVID as the excuse for using absentee ballots in election is not constitutional. Hats off. That's what I'm saying. That's about time New York stepped up. No, listen, allowing New Yorkers to vote by mail due to fear of COVID-19 is unconstitutional, a state judge said Friday in a ruling that Republican and conservative parties held as a victory for fair elections. It's about time. And this 28-page ruling by Saratoga County Supreme Court Justice Diane Freestone ordered local boards of election to stop counting the absentee ballots that they've already received. Because think about it. There's been a flood of these mail-in ballots coming in, a flood of them. And, you know, this was just reported that this judge ruled that voting by mail over fears of the coronavirus is unconstitutional. Go ahead. I know you're dying. Go ahead, Andy.
They've been trying to milk this thing forever, and I think either the state of California or maybe the federal government is still technically under a state of emergency due to COVID. They want to keep this thing. They want to milk this thing forever. They want to keep it going forever because that's how they keep their power, and they do these phony bullshit mail-in elections. So they know they can cheat, and this is a great ruling by this judge. It's nice that we do have some justice. If we don't have justice in this country, if we don't have a rule of law, this country will continue to go into the toilet.
Speaking of rule of law and justice, and this country going into the toilet, sit back. Put your seat belts on because I'm about to show you a video. And I'm showing this video because it's already out on YouTube, so I know I'm not doing anything wrong. But Joe Biden came out with this transsexual person. I don't know. I thought he was at his Delaware place, but anyway, it was on Sunday, and he says it's wrong. Listen to this: wrong for states to ban puberty blockers and sex reassignment surgery, not for adults, for children. Your children. All right. So Joe Biden on Sunday participated in this sit-down interview with this show called Now This, Make Your Mark, to discuss the midterms and the...
I'm sorry, this is already making me want to throw up and vomit.
And the failing Democrat agenda. All right, and Biden was on these note cards to get through the discussion because his brain, is barely working right now. And this Dylan Mulvaney, a transgender activist biological male who mocks women for a living, asked Joe Biden if it's wrong for states to ban sex reassignment surgery for children's mutilation. Wait, are you ready for this? So get ready because what I'm about to show you, put your seatbelts on. Get ready for this. This is crazy.
Question? What a fucking idiot.
Doesn't do with anything.
Wait. Okay, I'm going to stop it right there for a minute and I'll go back. People fear what they don't know. There's one thing that I know in the Bible, and that states it's Adam and Eve. Doesn't talk, first of all, I've never, ever seen transgender come out like it has now. And Biden made a statement in there where he said they're the most people being killed right now. Come on in here to L.A. I don't see no transsexuals getting killed. I see people getting killed by being mugged and raped. And it ain't transsexuals that are getting mugged and raped. This is a hoax. People, this is a hoax. And, you know, the more I keep, I'm going to play a little more for you. I'm going to play a little bit more. Blood of your blood, bone of your bone. Sounds like a marrow transplant. Here we go. Was he transsexual? No, I shouldn't have said that, but. Oh.
Yeah, he's such a
Wait. He's a performer.
Oh my God.
Oh, I have to. I just have to. Because this was Sunday. This hasn't even been shown on TV yet. You got to see this. I just have to get away from this now. You know what they're doing is they're making this whole thing like a movie. Is what they're literally doing. They brought a person that we've never heard before.
They're programming Americans right now.
That's exactly
all they're doing.
what this is.
It's programming.
It's a show, and when I saw this, I was like, "Holy cow! This is what they're doing."
You know,
hopefully,
they can go kick rocks and go fuck themselves. Like I disagree with this 100%. You know what? I'm pretty open-minded about everything, but you know, I don't give a fuck about what this. You know, how do I put this in the right words?
We gotta watch our language.
Right, exactly. Don't go ahead and try to program us with this garbage, right? If you know, let the families handle this themselves. Like, you know, this is the exact reason why, you know, this guy Joe Biden is the worst for us as a president, because he's not for the people. He's for himself, lining his pockets. He put a plug for that organization that is so-called son had some affiliation with. Like, I'm not supposed to speak about this, but let me tell you what it does.
Oh, yeah, he put it in there. He put that plug in there.
It's like this is just another way for him to line his pockets. He's looking for more votes because he knows that with Biden economy, Biden inflation, we need things to distract Americans from.
Exactly.
And this is
what
a
they're
massive
trying
distraction.
to do.
Exactly.
They can go fuck themselves.
Do you think?
Point. Yeah, but a couple of things. You know, Alan, you just touched on. There's nobody singling out trans people for murder. That is a complete bald-faced lie. It's a total lie. That doesn't happen whatsoever. And the thing people are so afraid of. People aren't afraid of trans people, but one thing that
I know a few of them. I know a few. I don't associate with them, but I know of a few.
I don't see there being anything where people, I'm so afraid this is so different. One thing that is true that people have legitimate complaints about are these things like these drag shows where they bring little kids.
That's a problem.
Right.
That's not trans.
That's sick.
That is sick.
So
and the people that are doing it know it's sick.
A straight person never takes a kid to a sex club or a strip show.
Well, and first of all, listen, I'm going to tell you something, Andy. You have to be 21 years old to go into a drinking establishment.
That's right.
Wherever there is liquor behind a bar, I know because I've owned many nightclubs in my time. And in order to have to go into a bar, you must be 21 years old if there is any kind of liquor sitting on a shelf.
Right. That's absolutely true. And then
it can even be put away, and those kids cannot be in that bar.
Right. And then the issue with giving puberty blockers to little kids.
Oh, that's just a scam.
Who can't even make their brains aren't even fully developed.
Yeah, the prefrontal cortex is not even fully developed.
Exactly. Right. This is science.
I mean, they're still talking imaginary people at that age. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
They're still playing with toys and dolls and bricks.
Nobody's
and
trying
Legos
to stop an adult from making a decision of what they want to do with their life.
That's it right there.
But little kids, they're putting this on little kids, and then they're trying to whitewash the issue. That's sick.
Yeah, it is sick.
That's the issue right there. I think that's the biggest point. If you're an adult, do whatever you want to do to your body. If you think you're a woman, become a woman. If you think you're a man, become a male.
Whatever you want to do.
Don't involve children in this debate, or it's not even a debate. It's complete nonsense.
All that Biden administration is doing it's all a political thing. That's all it is for the Biden administration. It's a political game.
Right. It's a way to get. Rob said it perfectly. It's a distraction to take your attention from what's really going on, and to put it on these things to get a phony controversy, gin up a phony controversy, try to get a debate going when there's so many other things that
diesel, inflation, food, digital currency.
We happen to be inching towards World War III. How about that?
How about that? Let's talk about that for a minute. Look, from what I'm understanding, there's 101st Airborne has never been like where they've at in 80 years. That's when Pearl Harbor was going on. And right now, they're just within miles from the border of Russia training with the Ukrainians right now. And this is reported by Rob. It's reported by CBS. You told me, right?
CBS Mornings came out with this report.
That was
I think
this
2-3
morning.
days ago.
Oh, 2 days
and
ago.
And they revised the article today. So I mean, we're preparing for WW3.
Yeah, I saw something where there was some news over the weekend where Russia is complaining that Ukraine is talking about throwing like these massive dirty bombs, which are really bad. It can wipe out a lot of area. But they're talking about throwing these. But now the United States is, from what we're being told, is that it's not Ukraine. Russia's just saying that because Russia's going to do it. So we can expect like something to happen, I'm sure, soon here. I mean, they've taken out a lot of their utilities right now, Russia has, according to the news that we get. What, Andy?
I hope everybody hasn't forgotten. Remember all the propaganda about Trump being a warmonger and Trump was going to lead us to World War III and Trump was going to cause all these conflicts. And as soon as this moron gets in, we're in one of the worst conflicts now that we've seen potentially. It keeps getting worse, and they're pushing. Obviously, they're pushing for this. They wanted this, and they could have easily resolved it with Russia with a little diplomacy. Trump has already presented some ideas for diplomacy. This wouldn't have happened. Everybody knows that. This government wants these. They feed the military-industrial complex, and they feed their war machine, and this is what they do.
Andy, this is what they're doing, and not only that, these politicians, they are filling their bank accounts. They are banging their pockets with money right now. Pelosi's, all of those, every single one of them, both liberal and both conservative, they're all putting money in their pockets is what they're doing. If you notice, they know everything that's going on with the stock market, the way they play it, the way the things they do. But you and me, if we're playing the stock market, we're going to get the opposite of it. They know exactly what sectors to put the money in. They know all of this sort of stuff. It's so rigged. Listen, give us a call, 780-753-8534, 800-753-8534, or 323-380-5485, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have. All right, Rob. Here he goes. Here's the phone number. He knows it's like Romeo is like, hey, it's time to go. It's time to. Hey, he actually can see road today. Hey, Romo. Romo's like ready to go. All right, so Rob, you answered my riddle on Friday. So now I got another riddle for you. And I worked hard on this one this weekend. So Andy, this is about Andy. Andy's put in a cell with a dirt floor and only one window. That'd be pretty bad, wouldn't it? You got a dirt floor and you got one window in there. The window is too high for him to reach. So the only thing in the cell is a shovel. He won't be able to get any food or water, and he only has 2 days to escape or he's going to die. And Andy can't dig a tunnel because it will take him much longer than 2 days to actually dig himself out. How will Andy escape from the cell?
I just have is the cell door unlocked? Is it locked? What type of cell door is it? Right.
Well, it's a room with dirt and it's a window.
Can he just walk out of the room?
No.
No. Okay.
That's to dig his way out.
Wow, this is a toughie.
Andy, do you know how you're going to get out of there?
Because I could see him.
You want me to go over it again?
Yeah, read it.
Read it
All
one
right.
time.
So let me. I'll just tell you, and I won't read it. I'll tell you about it. So Andy's put in a cell with a dirt floor and only one window. All right? And the window is too high for you to reach, Andy. And the only thing in the cell is a shovel. All you got in the cell is a shovel with the dirt floor and a window you can't reach. So naturally, you're going to try to dig yourself out, right? And you won't be able to get any food or any water, and only has 2 days to escape, or you're going to die. In other words, you're on death row. And Andy, you can't dig a tunnel because it's going to take you much longer than 2 days to do it. So how are you going to escape from your cell?
I got it.
All right, how are you going to do it?
I'm going to stand on the shovel to get out the window.
Here.
Andy takes those super duper inhuman pills and fight poison.
Okay.
How are you going to do it?
No,
How I would think of it.
You put
This
up the thing and you stand on it and you use it as a mount.
Yeah, but once you get to the window, what are you going to do?
Okay.
You said you can get out.
What are you going to? How are you going to?
So because he just gave me an idea,
right.
and the reason I asked you questions like, what kind of door is it? Can he walk out? Is it locked, unlocked? Because I wanted to see exactly the position he was in. But because of what he said about creating a mound, since it's dirt, wouldn't you want to create a massive, massive dirt mound and then use the shovel to smash the window?
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
You want to know the answer?
Yeah. What is it? Yeah.
Rob came pretty close
I'm
to it
itching right
again.
now. I'm itching.
Rob came pretty close to it again. So Andy has to use the shovel to create a pile of dirt under the window so that he can climb onto it and escape from the cell.
Oh, that's basically what. That's.
No, you didn't say
Yeah,
you
I said-
just put the shovel down.
Well, you
So
can
have to-
stand on the
you have
shovel.
to-
It's the same idea. You can get. I said
You
you
came
could
close,
stand on
but
the
you have to
shovel.
pile the dirt.
You pile the dirt.
I'm gonna have these every day. I'm gonna be teasing your brain every day.
I think my answer is good because you could mount the shovel against the wall and then
It's a good one.
and then stand it. I mean, the idea is to get you up there, right?
So he doesn't go through the window. He goes over top of the cell.
No, he has to use the.
window.
He has to go through
Oh,
the
he goes
window.
through the window.
Robert thinks he's going over the cell. Oh my God.
I said the window. I mean, I thought I got it.
I love these brain teasers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That had me thinking for a quick second.
It makes you work. It makes you work your brain. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, it was good talking to you all. See you tomorrow. We'll have some great news for you again tomorrow. Well, I don't know, it'll be about great, but we'll have a lot of news for you again tomorrow. It's not that great. I mean, things.
You're going to hear all this stuff here first. You're not hearing it anywhere else. You better open up your ears and just pay attention, you know?
Yeah, Romeo says it's time to go. Anyway, all right. Talk to you tomorrow. God bless every one of you. Be safe, and we'll see you tomorrow.